Hi, so welcome back. Third video now, and I have been closely following progress through all the analytics data you can get on YouTube. I've been viewed in the UK, New Zealand, UAE, Colombia, and the USA, so I'm starting to get around the world. I realise I need to probably change it up a bit. As I said in the first video, not really sure where I'm going with this, but as the days go by, I realise that maybe I do. Yeah, there's not much point in doing this unless you actually want people to look at it, so I need to come up with something a bit more useful, I think, for people to do. So, bearing that in mind, let me take you for a quick tour and show you the blackboard. Follow me. So here we go through into the kitchen of my house, and if I just flip you around, there you see the blackboard. So here we are, Tuesday. Every day I put 3 things that I must do before I go to bed, and that fourth one I'll talk about in a second, Meister task. So not a terribly exciting list today, and then I basically just have another list of bits and pieces that I may do. And there we go, down the bottom, How to Be a Failure and Succeed by a man, Ernest Hall, that I mentioned back in vlog 1. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and avoid showing you the state of my kitchen, and let's head back to the main studio. So what was the point of me showing you all that? It basically links back to my decision making this year, and that process, that use of lists, and the other app there, or the online site called Meister Task, has really been to get my life organised. So as somebody with ADHD, that's probably one of the more challenging things to actually do, which is why I didn't show the kitchen. And back in about February, I sat down and went, right, I've got to sort my life out this year, February 2016, and thought I need to look at the different areas of my life. And I basically used Meister Task as a project planner. It's designed for business collaboration, but I'm using it on a personal basis. I've set up about 8 or so different life projects with short, medium and long-term goals, and within that I could set individual tasks. And it worked really well. One of the things I wanted to do was work on some reclaimed wood that I got back in 2003. I've been tinkering around with that for years and years and years, and then within the space of probably a couple of months, less I would imagine, I turned it into a fantastic reclaimed mirror. Perhaps I'll put a picture of that on Twitter or Facebook for you. I then as a result of doing that, I've tried other bits and pieces, other apps to get me organised, but when I turned up in this flat and saw the blackboard, that was a great thing for me, and I really love the practical element away from all the technology of just being able to scribble on that every morning when I'm having my coffee. Right, think about it, what do I need to do today? Get those few items up there. Meister Task stays on as an absolute, and that's for 2 reasons. One is every day since, again, February, I think, since I started this, just started using it, I've put something positive, something I'm grateful for. And all of those comments are recorded in Spanish, because that's another one of my development aims, is to maintain my Spanish. And the other one is that I record an example of where I said thank you to somebody every single day. So whenever I'm having a bit of a downtime, not feeling particularly great, not feeling terribly optimistic about where I'm heading with all this, all I need to do is look back through that, and I have an immediate record of what I'm achieving, what I'm grateful for, why things are good. And the influence that has had on my positive mental attitude this year is uncanny, and I would recommend anyone to do something similar. There's no fault with it, and it's working. Little did I know that later in the year, when I started on my course, I would then be told, as part of the entrepreneurship development learning, that we needed to look at our where we were in life. We did a sort of life chart, the goods and bads that have happened in our lives, and the highs and lows since we were basically born up till now. Chart that out. I'll try and find something on YouTube for that, actually, that might be a bit more useful, because I think that's quite a revealing task for people. It reveals what your motivations are in life, and basically as a result of what's formed you, the experiences that have formed you. And for me, that was really useful. When I did it and I listed the bits out of it at the end, I just sat in the study area at University of Leeds with a great big grin on my face, because a lot of it I knew, kind of inherently knew, but it got me to really list it out, and that was great. Really, really, really cool, and showed exactly to me that I'm doing the right thing now. I mean, I don't know how it would work for other people, but for me, it was good. On that point, just a couple of other things to finish off with then. Yesterday I had a complete Eureka moment, or last night. I was working on my business plan, and sorry, I keep sticking my tongue in my cheek, don't I? I had fish for tea, and there's obviously bits still stuck in there, so sorry about that. Probably too much information. I don't have a television, that's probably why I'm doing this. Anyway, getting back to the point, so last night I had this Eureka moment, and I did a business plan. Some stuff that came out of the business bootcamp thing I went to last week was involved in that, in terms of looking at the value proposition of my idea. And that threw me into a well-known phrase by a philosopher that matched my idea. That in turn took me on to a musician, and somebody I've met in the last couple of weeks, I believe, is married to a record producer. No, not a record producer. Yeah, is that what I mean? Anyway, whatever they are, the people that sign artists. And I think she's married to the one that owns the company that has signed this particular artist. And my mind just went off on a whole, whoosh, I can see where my marketing plan is going for this business. I know that's a bit of a flight to fantasy, and there's a lot of practicalities that would need to be ironed out in that. But again, it was another really positive sort of thing of what's going on here. At the same time, I discovered somebody else I know has been doing some stuff with drones, drone filming, and that's another idea I've had linked into that marketing concept. So that's kind of, it's in the back of my mind. Obviously, I've got to get the business up and running first, but it's coming together, and I really like the way these things work and the way these things are happening as a result of networking. And lastly, I just want to shout out to my confidant Gav, who's given me this idea. I wasn't sure about what I'd be doing with my blogs, but he said, why don't you do something about the consequences of trapping your feelings? And I think I will in due course. The last few days I've had some really worrying news about my big brother, who's very stubborn and not in a particularly great place at the moment. 50-year-old straight men aren't very good at talking about their feelings, and for a couple of days I've been quite concerned for him, but tonight I've had some good news that he's back in the UK, and he should be staying with my parents this evening, so that's a good step forward, and fingers crossed that continues to work out. Anyway, I won't say any more about that. I'll go on about trapped feelings and the consequences of that, but they can be quite negative. People need to talk. I love talking, you've got that already, but talk about it, makes it easier. That's my little tip for today. And today's little cheers is Ron Diplomatico from Venezuela, probably the nicest rum I've ever tasted. And I'm enjoying this, actually. It's good. See you again.